Do I suffer with tinnitus? I do, and I have for the last 10 years. I don't know how it all came about. I've discussed it with doctors, and no ready solution has ever been given to me. So I'm a continuous sufferer. But I'm going to survive. The only way that you really can overcome it, because it's not alleviated by doing anything or taking anything. The only thing is a matter of mind. It's discipline, I guess.
God forbid it gets any worse. That's what I can say. God forbid. I don't see that suicide is an option. I have too many people in my life that care about me. My brother would be devastated, although he might not tell you he would be, but yeah, I think he would be devastated.
Some days I do not overcome tinnitus. Some days I feel like absolute shit and life sucks and I wish I weren't around to deal with this. I wish that I were someplace else, the afterlife or nothing, or meditating in a cave and recovering. I don't know. Fortunately enough, I've been able to have enough days where I do overcome tinnitus and I do get my ass out of bed, shower, warm up my horn with my earplugs in, and come to work, and I've been able to do a pretty good job.
And I don't even know whether you want to hear this, and you can edit it out perhaps, but right now, sitting on my desk at home, on photography paper, it says, "Attention, first responders. I am an organ donor. My name is Ronald F. Horner. I live at 507 New Leaf Drive," so forth and so on. It says, "To the best of my knowledge, all of my organs are in relatively good shape and should be available for immediate transplantation. It is my desire that any part of my body that can be used in transplantation be done so immediately and expeditiously."
And I remember one night I woke up and I had just had it, and we had gas instead of electric oven. I just stuck my head in it.
The reason for my committing suicide had nothing to do with any failing of my health, but was because of a tormenting siren in my head.
I was absolutely desperate. My wife took me to the hospital, and that's when the doctors started to prescribe the Klonopin, which then allowed me to sleep, and then eventually I habituated to it. I'm glad I didn't commit suicide, but I remember one night particularly I was absolutely desperate. I'd do anything to get it to stop.
And it seemed that death was my only escape from it.
It was nothing short of awful.
Please make sure that my body parts are given to those who are most desperately in need of them.
I try very hard not to let that happen, but sometimes it's just very difficult.
Just pray that a merciful God will understand and have mercy on my eternal soul, and that it actually gives the address to which my body would be delivered for cremation. I just feel that, like, if I have to check out, I want some of my good organs to go to someone who desperately needs them.
This came about right after I came back from a tour I did in China that, considering the condition I have, just doing that much traveling and exerting myself so much, just really had a huge effect on me. And I won't give back a minute of all of them wild, wild dreams, those frayed ends of passion, and all the love they gleamed. I guess the song is more about pain in general, like tinnitus being my pain, but I don't personally like to refer to it so directly. It's my whole life that I'm living here, and that just to focus on this one aspect of it can become an obsession, kind of. And I would rather look at my life as a totality, that I'm living with this pain, even though it drives me to moments of just complete anguish, that it's a part of life. And though the road is never ending, we all get our own short mile. The splendor of its landscapes, ours just for a little while. Yeah, we all go round in circles, passing the torch's glow, and in the process living the only lives we'll know.
I'm in the Alcoholics Anonymous program for the last 20 years, and one of the slogans is one day at a time. And I applied my program to my tinnitus. Many times it was like 1 second at a time. I have to just walk through this.
It was Abraham Lincoln, I just read this quote. He said, "The best thing about the future is that it only comes one day at a time."
Just now, today. And that really helped me walk through that. And I just kept telling myself I'm going to be okay and I'm going to find my answers. And I did. And I am.
We have the largest spinal cord injury section or facility in the VA system. So I see guys who can't move anything but a nose. I see them where they have no arms, no legs.
I was just laid up in bed with another issue for about 5 days, and I watched all 10 episodes of the Band of Brothers. And what the folks that go through that had to deal with fighting the Nazis and the Japanese, I mean, that's much worse than tinnitus.
I've seen quite a bit myself from the guys that have just recently come back. Young men, 20, 22 years old. You know, you're just kind of glad that you're not dealing with their problems. That tinnitus doesn't seem as much of a problem.
You can have good quality life and tinnitus. You can enjoy life and have fun and have tinnitus.
I ain't doing too bad. I ain't doing too bad at
Manny's here.
all.
Manny's here. We got a third. Yay!
I ain't doing too bad. I tell you, I ain't doing too bad at all. My old lady, she just came back, and we gonna have ourselves a ball. Let me tell you, people, let me tell you all about my life. One time I was down and out, but now I'm feeling good, ain't doing too bad.
There's a cure in Israel by this doctor. There's a cure down in Mexico. There's a cure for tinnitus. Crystal River in Florida here. And I don't feel there's a cure for it. It's really sad, but there is no cure for it.
We talked about it before we were married, yeah. And it really was a godsend because it felt, for me, it felt so much better to be with somebody that understood what I was going through when I was dating and single. And I didn't want to date just because I'd have to deal with telling a person who probably wouldn't understand. And he does, and it's a very special bond because of that.
I've never had ringing ears. I had ear infections, but it wasn't ringing ears. And it's sad because I don't know what he's going through, just what he tells me.
The noise levels and the changes and the different sounds that you have, and sometimes it changes your mood.
It's really like put our marriage on hold. He's constantly talking about threatening himself because of the tinnitus. Every day it gets worse. Some days it gets better.
There are times, if my tinnitus gets real loud, I might get real quiet and go into myself a little bit. And it's nice to have someone that understands that.
You gotta learn to accept it. And someday he's going to get better. And that's it.
Hopefully.
You are. Don't say hopefully. You're going to get better.
Hopefully. It's the only thing I have left is my hope.
Unless something drastic happens, I fall over dead.